The centrepiece of this year's state budget is a $100 million surplus predicted for the 2016-17 financial year. This represents a $227 million turnaround in the state's fortunes and means the state will be in surplus 3 years ahead of predictions. So, how have they achieved this? Well, it's simple really. The government's worked out that if you spend less than you earn, you can work towards a surplus. So, for the next financial year, they'll be spending about 1.1% more than they did last year. However, their income will be up by 2.8%, meaning they'll be in surplus in 2 years. So, has the GST windfall got them out of trouble? Well, there's $151 million extra this next financial year, compliments to the federal government. There's about $44 million extra in state taxes. But this time around, the government's saying, we're not going to spend that money, we're going to save it, and we're going to save it for the future. So what are they going to do? Well, as some pundits say, it's the economy stupid, with the Treasurer talking up the creation of 8,000 jobs over the next 4 years through an infrastructure fund in the vicinity of $340 million. How are they going to do it? Well, it'll come as no surprise that it's the private sector that'll create the new jobs. Such is the Treasurer's confidence that he's saying if you wear a high-vis jacket and you've moved interstate, we want you to come back to Tasmania. So what about the public sector? The Treasurer says it's not time to give up on the fiscal strategy that was started last year, and the cuts to the public service will continue, with the government on target to remove about 821 jobs from the public service by the end of next financial year. However, for education, there'll be no further frontline cuts. What about the figures? Well, growth's expected to increase from 1.75% to a modest 2.5% for the next financial year, while unemployment's expected to fall from 7% down to 6.75%. What's the bottom line? Well, the Liberal government got a bump in the polls earlier this week, and with this budget it's quite clear that that increase in the polls will be maintained if not improved. So this budget sees significant amounts of money invested in the north and the northwest, which will definitely increase support for the government in those regions, but more importantly, stimulate those economies. So it's pretty clear to me that this budget will see increased support for the government and be generally well received.